The Chicago Sky have the opportunity to completely revamp their roster this season.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everyone, welcome into Locked On Women's Basketball. I'm Clea Butler, the sideline reporter for the Chicago Sky. Joined alongside me today is obviously a fresh face. You see in the middle, you have Sophia Jones, my co-host and the analyst for the Golden State Valkyries. But with us today is one of my favorite human beings ever, Shimmy Miller, the analyst for the Chicago Sky and the Big Ten. Shimmy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me. I think you guys are awesome. I love the show. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for
I love hearing that. Thank you.
So we have a couple of things to go over today. Clearly, we're going to talk about the Sky as well as Big Ten. That is why we are so lucky to have Shimmy joining us and giving all of her insight. And we'll get into some Big 12 preseason polls as well. But before that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to start. Okay. On the chopping block for the WNBA free agency chats today is the Chicago Sky. The Sky are going to have multiple unrestricted free agents in this 2026 season. Courtney Vandersloot being one, Rebecca Allen, Kia Nurse, Michaela Onyenwere, Ariel Atkins, and Rachel Bannum. A lot of those are guards, obviously, aside from Michaela. Shimmy, in your opinion, what are the pros and cons of maybe having all of these guards being unrestricted free agents, and who can we maybe expect to come back or not?
Well, first of all, let's put Courtney Vandersloot, let's move her from the right side back over to the left side, because she's already said that she's going to come back. I think she has unfinished business. There's a reason why she left the Liberty to come back to Chicago in the first place. She has a family, she has a daughter, her mom passed away. So her family now is her wife's family, and they're all located in Illinois. So that's home for her. She wants to finish out her career in Chicago, where it started, and, where she won a championship in 2021. So she's coming back. And I don't know if you guys follow her on social media or not, but she looks good. Like, she's been training, she's been working out. Yeah, she looks really, really good. So she's coming back, I think, with a little chip on her shoulder, because a lot of the, the vitriol and the discourse that kind of surrounded her towards the end of the season. I love the way that Rachel Bannum has been playing for Chicago, especially this last season. She was asked to do a lot, probably more so out of her comfort zone and range than she would have liked. But you see the type of impact that Rachel Bannum can have when she's moved off the ball and she's able to come off screens and just shoot. But I don't know if this is where Rachel wants to finish her career. She's got a couple years left too. And this is still very much a rebuild for Chicago. I want everyone's expectations to be tempered. I think a lot of the frustration that came this season is the expectations that outsiders might have had of this team this year were way too high. And that's what frustration is, right? It's that gap between expectation and reality. And I said at the beginning of the season, if Chicago were able to make the playoffs, which is like finish 7th or 8th, that would be a successful season based on the roster that they had. And obviously the injuries that they incurred derailed that. We don't know what kind of season Chicago would have had Sloot, Ariel, Angel not gotten hurt. Would have, could have, should have. So I don't know if Rachel Bannum will be back. Ariel Atkins, remember, she's someone that can be cored. Mm-hmm. And I just think she's so good. And she still has a couple of really, really good years left in her. This is someone, you don't score 30 points in this league, without being, a more than capable scorer. She's a 3-level scorer. And I think that's what Chicago really needs.
Mhm.
If you look into free agency, I really think Chicago needs to go out and they need to find a true stretch 4. Someone that can complement Camila and Angel and Elizabeth Williams. We don't know if Elizabeth Williams will come back, but those 3, they do their work in the paint. So it makes it easier to guard. Defenses are able to clog, they're able to sag. And then when the shooters that were surrounding them this year struggled, Kia Nurse, Rebecca Allen, I'm looking at you, then it just made it even easier to scheme defensively for Chicago. You take away the paint, you take away, Chicago's strength. So I would love to see a true stretch 4, Naz Hillman. Someone who can really, a Megan Gustafson, someone who can play big, can guard 4s, can guard 5s even if necessary, but can offensively can stretch. Sophia, your rookie from Golden State. Her name is slipping me right now.
Janelle Salah.
There you go.
Yeah.
No. The other one. The
Ileana.
She came over late.
Ileana Rupert, shooter. French.
Boom, there you go,
Yep.
Rupert.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very good.
Yeah.
If you can go and find someone like that, that's what Chicago needs. If Angel, Camila, Elizabeth Williams to complement those 3 types of players.
Yeah, and the Sky, they really did string together a couple really great moments this season. I still think you can say beating teams like the Lynx and the Liberty and being right there in a lot of competitive matchups. But how does this team set themselves up this offseason to have more consistency? I know we talked about the injuries, but especially when you're on a rebuild, how do you establish that foundation?
You have to look at the point guard position.
Mm.
And I am a Sloot believer. I think she's still a very, very good point guard at this level and in this league. She has championship experience. She's done it twice with 2 different franchises. She's one of the best in the league at pick and roll. If I'm a big, which I was a big, I still am a big, then I want to play. I want to play with Courtney Vandersloot. She'll get you the ball. But you saw what happened when she got hurt. And she is, getting up there in age. You've got to have insurance. So whether that's bringing in, if you're able to bring in an elite point guard and move Courtney, to the 6-player role, or bring in a very solid young backup point guard. I think they thought that would have been Haley Van Lith, but Haley Van Lith also struggled with some injuries, and she also really struggled to adjust to the pace and the physicality of the league in this first year. Her first year was really about growing and learning. I'm not sure she's ready to be that solid backup contributor at the point guard position at this level. Chicago has to go out and they have to get a point guard, and they have to get a dynamic scorer, and not just necessarily a catch and shoot wing, but someone that can create for themselves. I'm thinking like Ka Copper. No, I'm not saying go get Ka Copper. That's being audacious, but a player like that, like a Salon, like someone who can go and get buckets. Not a Jewel Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd is more of a corner catch and shoot 3-point shooter, although she was outstanding in the finals this year. And I would love to have Jewel come home, but Chicago needs a young bucket getter.
Shimmy, you had said before when Angel went out with her injuries throughout the season that this is very much Angel's team. The Chicago Sky is very much Angel's team. If Angel, obviously some of the discourse that happened towards the end of the season, if Angel or the team were to decide to trade her, what do you think this Chicago team would look like?
I don't even want to think about that. But we have to, right? I mean, that's why you have me on here. We're analysts. We have to. So first of all, you have to look at the intangibles. You think about the energy that's been surrounded by this franchise the last 2 years. I've been coming to Chicago Sky games for well over a decade. I had a player who was drafted by, in the WNBA, played for Chicago for 2 seasons, Jordan Hooper. So I've been coming and watch Jordan Hooper play, and that was back in like 2017 or 18. So I've been coming to Chicago Sky games for a very, very long time. I've been involved with the program as an analyst for 3 seasons. I've never seen excitement like this. I've never gone to an arena and seen the line all the way, down the street, wrapped around the corner the way it has been several times. And not just when the Fever came to town. There's been several times the energy, how many attendance records were broken this year, how many sellouts does Chicago have this year. I think it would be asinine to think that Angel Reese doesn't have something to do with that, right? This is a franchise who won a championship, and they still weren't having consecutive sellouts the way that they had this year. My own cousin, I bought her an Angel Reese jersey. She FaceTimed me the other day, and she's like, "I wore this to school for Jersey Day," Like, the excitement around Angel Reese is palpable. So that's the first thing you have to look at. If you lose Angel, how much of that do you lose? Mm-hmm. And who can you bring in this league that's going to generate the type of excitement, the type of revenue, the type of energy, that Angel has brought the last 2 years. So if you lose Angel, then you better get your money's worth. So you better get like a great point guard, a dynamic scorer, maybe even a stretch 4. You've got to get something for that, because not just of what you're losing with her on the court, her leadership, her IQ, her ability to defend, her impact on the glass, you're going to lose that, but because of all the other stuff that you lose when Angel walks. So obviously, I'm not a GM. I'm wearing a ball cap, but it's not a GM ball cap. But you have to I have faith in this organization that they're not stupid, and they realize that if they lose Angel, we're losing this on the court, but we're also losing all this off the court. So what can we get in return?
You bring up a great point too, just obviously the impact that she has, especially within the city of Chicago. Obviously, we were both at the game, Shimmy. The amount of fans that you see in the crowd and the amount of little girls that are all wearing Angel Reese jerseys. And even when she wasn't playing, when she was out with injury, all the fans were so excited to see her walk through the tunnel, literally standing up. She has like a street outfit on. They are standing up excited to see her.
She's a star. She is a star, and she has star power.
She does. Absolutely. But after this, more Shimmy to come. She's not leaving us just yet. We're going to break down the Big Ten preseason polls. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Okay, like I said, more Shimmy to come, and she is here to talk to us about the Big Ten preseason rankings. So as of right now, for this 25-26 season, we have UCLA as number 1, Maryland, USC, Michigan, and Ohio State. But I want to we've talked a lot about UCLA, obviously, with Lauren Betts and Kiki Rice. We want to hear a little bit in your perspective about this Maryland group, because you spoke very highly about them. You were just at the media day a couple weeks ago now. What did you see from this Maryland group, or what can you see from this Maryland group that can be exciting for Big Ten this year?
Well, what I said at media day is if there's anyone in the league that can challenge UCLA, and you guys talked about UCLA in your top 25 you're right. You talked about Betts, Kiki Rice. You cannot forget about Charlize Ledger-Walker, 4-time All Pac-12 player when she was at Washington State, sat out last year. She's back and she's healthy. So yeah, UCLA is built to win a Big Ten championship. They are built to advance very far in the NCAA tournament, maybe even another national championship appearance. But Maryland is also built, they're built to challenge UCLA. And because this is, first of all, you look at the coaching, it starts with the top. Brenda Freese is one of the elite coaches in the game today. And I do not, we say a lot of times, we throw this phrase around, people don't, they don't get enough credit. I don't think she gets enough credit. I don't think Brenda Frese gets enough credit for what she does as a coach. She gets a ton of credit for who she is as a recruiter. And that's great. But I've seen lots of like underachieving teams full of talent. Right. Brenda Frese, she recruits her tail off. She brings in these talented players, but then she also knows how to win with them. And she's been to 4 Sweet 16s in 5 years, so she's in that upper echelon of coaches, in my opinion. So now this year, she has depth. She has talent. She does what she usually does. She goes into the transfer portal. She was doing the transfer portal lottery before it was a thing, before it was cool, right? She's not new to this, as you said to me, Kalia, she's new to this. But she goes and she gets, Yarden Garzon from Indiana, who is Indiana's all-time leader in three-point shooting. She's a career 40% three-point shooter, first team all Big Ten. She goes and she gets the defensive player of the year from the ACC out of Duke. I know Duke's a team that you guys like, that you talked about, in your ACC breakdown. So she has a healthy Bree McDaniel, who tore ACL. She's back. She was a candidate for 6th player of the year before she got hurt. So Maryland has some stud true freshmen who I think could really crack into this lineup as well. And so you have depth, you have size, you have scoring, you have Brenda Frese. So I think that they are a team that if they can stay healthy, they can challenge UCLA this season. Ohio State, ranked a little bit lower than what Kevin McGuff is used to in the preseason poll. They're still top 5 though. And you lose Cody McMahon, but sometimes it's addition by subtraction. I think Cody McMahon is going to be a great fit at Ole Miss, but I think with her, leaving Ohio State, it gives Jelani Cambridge and Chance Gray opportunities to really step up and shine. And these are 2 players. Jelani Cambridge is only a sophomore, Chance Gray is a senior, but these are 2 players who are dynamic scorers. Chance Gray's hit 9 threes in a game before. Jelani Cambridge has scored 30 points as a freshman. She's the reigning co-freshman of the year in the Big Ten. So this will allow Ohio State, they're small, but this will allow them to play really fast and really aggressive, apply even more pressure than they're used to, but most importantly, be more proficient three-point shooters, because that was something that Cody McMahon really struggled with. So I like Ohio State, but do not sleep on Michigan. Michigan is young, but they are extremely talented. And the two of the sophomores, Olivia Olson and Silas Swords, they get a lot of the attention, but the key is going to be Mila Holloway. And so you heard it here first. She was a true freshman last year. She started at the point guard in every single game. Do you know how hard that is to be? So, Sophia, were you a shooter or point guard?
Point guard.
Oh, okay. Then you know how hard that is.
Yep.
To play point guard at,
completely
at
new
any
system, getting used to the pace, physicality, all of it. Yeah.
Big Ten, true freshman, point guard. And Kim Barnes-Rico was a point guard. So she's really hard on her point guards. And so when we had Big Ten Media Day, I cornered Sila and Olivia and I said, hey, how's Mila? How was her development in the offseason? And both of their eyes got so big and they were like, oh, she came back. Like, she's ready. She's so good. And she's been killing it in practice. So Mila Holloway, I just really like her. And then they did a decent job of getting some solid transfers as well. But I really like Michigan too.
Yeah, and I would love to get your quick opinion on this USC team as well. Of course, last year, the big names were Juju Watkins, who said that she was going to be out this season because of a torn ACL, and then Kiki Iriafen. So when you're losing those big talents, where does that leave this squad?
Yeah, you lose those two. You lose Rhea Marshall. You lose Avery Howell, who transferred to Washington. I mean, you've lost 4 of your starting 5 at USC. The good news is you return Kennedy Smith, who was really good down the stretch. You bring over London Jones from UCLA, who her 3-point shooting can help replace Avery Howe. But you have Jazz Harrison, who is the number one ranked recruit in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so you lose, but you gain. And then I also will always go back to coaching because I'm a former coach, right? Lindsay Gottlieb is as good as they come. Remember, she has NBA experience. She was on an NBA bench with the Cleveland Cavs. So that's why USC is ranked a little bit low because of everything they lost. But I'm also looking at what they have coming in. And I still think that it's enough to finish high in the conference and to make a good run in the NCAA.
Well, Shimmy, thank you so much for joining us today. I swear, every time I hear your basketball mind, I'm like, I just gained so much more knowledge. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today or just coming on and joining. I know you're busy. You have Jordan to take care of. But again, thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to be here. We appreciate it. Hopefully we can have you on again.
Kali and Sophia, thank you so much for having me on. You guys keep crushing it, please. I love the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be back after this with some of the Big 12 preseason polls.
The holidays are going to be here before you know it, which is exciting, but getting your home ready for guests and celebrations can feel like a lot. Maybe your serveware needs a refresh or the guest room could use new bedding. Wayfair has everything you need to get your home holiday ready. From Christmas trees and wreaths to bedding, cookware, and outdoor inflatables, it's your one-stop shop for every room in the house. If you're a part of that, starting Christmas celebrations post-Halloween, similar to me, then this is a time to get on Wayfair and start getting some of this stuff. So what are you waiting for? Go to wayfair.com to start searching for your holiday and Christmas celebrations.
All right, welcome back. Unfortunately, no more Shimmy. We're moving on into the Big 12 preseason polls, though, because I feel like to an extent, this is a little bit of a sleeper conference. There are some really successful teams within the Big 12. And this year, featured in the Associated Press. This is the second consecutive season that 4 Big 12 women's basketball programs are featured in the Associated Press top 25 women's college preseason polls. So significant number. Obviously, we talked about the Big 10, we talked about the SEC, but we would be remiss to not mention the Big 12. So Iowa State leads all programs at number 14 within the top 25 rankings, and the Cyclones are led by their preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, Audie Crooks, who I absolutely love. And then after that, we still have a TCU that is in question. Oklahoma State has been great too, but when we're looking at some of these players with the preseason coaches polls as well, we're obviously going to look to TCU for Olivia Miles, Iowa State for Audie Crooks, and then Baylor as well. Sophia, in your opinion, from some of these teams that we've seen from the Big 12, who would stand out to you most this season?
I would honestly have to still say TCU. When you think about a player like Olivia Miles, she's projected to be a lottery pick, such a dynamic playmaker. And again, she's a transfer from Notre Dame, where last season could be considered a bit disappointing for them. So she's going to be in her senior year. And TCU definitely has a great chance to make some noise. They built up a great program, and you look at the departures of a player like Haley Van Lith or Sedona Prince. Well, you return or get in Olivia Miles, and she could really help to take this program to another level. And just this team, whenever I watch them, it really just looks like they're so connected. They love to play for their coach. So I think that'll definitely be a squad to be on the lookout for. But I would also throw in Baylor. I think for the past decade, probably longer, Baylor has been synonymous with Big 12 success, even going back to the Brittany Griner and Kim Mulkey era. But that never left. And I think they're always going to be a team that competes. They got a new transfer in Talia Scott, who she was a couple grades under me, but we played in the same AAU organization, and she's an extremely talented and dynamic scorer. She had a great freshman campaign, but then sophomore or both seasons were a little hindered by injuries. So I think she's someone that is looking to come onto the scene and really make an impact as well. But two programs that I find a little interesting are, or just the fact that the Arizona schools aren't getting a ton of love from this Big 12 women's basketball preseason coaches poll. Arizona State, they were picked to finish 11th, and Arizona 14th. And those are programs that we just recently saw have a ton of success. I think Arizona State has the ability to really make a comeback. They hired Molly Miller from Grand Canyon University, and if anyone knows anything about GCU, they were one of the top mid-majors in the country last season, so she really built something great there. And I like when I see coaches ascend the totem pole in head coaching by just you go low major, mid major, and then you're at a Big Four school in Arizona State. So they have that. You have a player like last year Poa from LSU. She transferred in, such a tenacious defender. I'll be interested to see one of my old teammates at San Jose State, Jai Levette, is there as well. And so she can definitely make noise. She can put that ball in the hoop. I know because I had to guard her a lot. I know from experience, not too much though. I will give myself a little bit of a pat on the
You're a
back.
strong defender. We can tell. We can tell.
Oh, no, thank you. But so it'll definitely be interesting to see if this Arizona State team is going to have a bit of a resurgence this year. And I think that it's very much a possibility for them too.
Yeah. And again, just making sure I got this order correct. We have the TCU that's coming in, Iowa State, Baylor, Oklahoma State, who had all received top 25 voting. But there was also some other teams within this conference that got some votes as well. A West Virginia, a K-State, and Kansas. Sophia, in your opinion, of those three additional teams that had received some votes, who else do you think can deserve to get some recognition this season?
I could see West Virginia sneaking in there a little bit. I know they have one of their players, she's French recently. I remember because I ran into her on the street next to when her and Carla Late, which she's a player for the Golden State Valkyries, both that French connection. So I would definitely expect them or just West Virginia to see some success. And that's another program I think where you look at, they've been on the cusp for a while at really just making that leap in order to be considered one of the top teams in the country. And it very well could be in their capability. I mean, when you have a conference also that has 16 teams, because it's not the Big 12, it's the Big 16 now. I think because you have so much parity, it really is possible to make noise for yourself when people might not expect it.
A team that I want to mention too is Kansas State, because they're a school that's fresh off the school's deepest NCAA tournament run since 2002. But they're entering their season with a lot of uncertainty as well, because this is an extremely young roster that is going to be on this team. But again, you are returning at least one senior, two juniors, but there's a lot of underclassmen. So I think this is going to be a real test of Coach Mitty's patience this season and what he can provide for this team, and just kind of what he can speak into his team as well, coming off such a successful season. But when you're losing so many of these players and obviously just a lot of that leadership and senior ability, it's going to be a little bit tough for them. But I don't know. I feel like they can still make a strong run. Maybe not as far as they did last season, but I was very impressed from what I had seen from them last season. But it's obviously going to be a big adjustment for them. They also have some transfers coming in as well. They have a Stanford transfer, a Louisville, Duke, and Virginia Tech. So a lot of players that can contribute to not only the front court but the back court this season. So if they can put all those pieces together early, and again, we've spoke about it plenty, it all matters how you play in March. So if they can figure it out by March and make another significant run, they'll be A-okay.
Exactly. Literally every single like media person ever is like, oh, it just matters how you play in March. And it high key does because when you think, I mean, all what non-conference and conference is preparing you for, yes, maybe some seeding,
Mhm.
but seeding can be just not even a matter. It can be insignificant if you as a team are at your strongest in March.
Yes, we've seen it happen before. Well, Sophia, this has been a fun week of our coverage. We got Shimmy Miller to join us today, and we will be back again on Monday. We'll go over some more free agency within the WNBA, and we'll take a look at what we can still expect from college basketball. It's getting a lot closer than we think. Some of these games are coming up early November, so obviously still plenty to talk about. But thank you again so much for tuning in to